You came for the pint, but you ended up in Scary Larry's House of Horrors. Wrong turn, bitches.
Officer, he's in tremendous pain. Can't you do something?
Lady, I can only take one person at a time.
What, because he's a male?
Did anybody throw anything?
No, it just suddenly happened. Suddenly.
Can I talk? Why don't you do something for this man and stop following the rules?
Lady, what's the difference between you and a tape recorder except that I can't shut you off?
You know, you're the type of cop that would use a traffic violation as a ruse to pull me over and rape me.
Baby, I ain't sure you don't got a cock.
All right, welcome back to Season 3 of the rechristened Scary Larry's House of Horrors. I'm John, and of course, you can't have a Scary Larry episode without Scary Larry himself. Scary Larry, what is going on tonight?
I am chilling like a villain.
Chilling like a villain. So, we're starting Season 3. Season 1,
Yeah.
Larry, was you picked just a
Yeah.
big old list of movies, right?
Yep. I remember it honestly like it was yesterday. You came up with the idea to do this sideshow. Sideshow's
That's
a good
right.
way to
It
put
is a
it,
good
isn't
way.
it? And you were like, just give me 20 movies. And I literally just looked to my left at my DVDs because I was sitting at my desk and just like picked 20 just by looking at the movie titles.
20 movies, and we put them up to different votes on Twitter, Facebook.
We
and
rolled some dice.
We rolled some dice to get
Yep.
the finalists for the vote. Then the fans, or then the listeners would vote on it, and then we would also to keep it at a 20. You would pick new movies to drop in there, right?
Yep.
So that was the first season. We did 10 episodes. Some of the episodes in that, the Funhouse. We did Poltergeist. We did Day of the
Day
Dead.
of the Dead,
Had
Maniac.
Maniac. We had a great time. The second season, the Manster said, why don't we do Larry picks again, but why don't Larry pick one movie from every year starting in 2000? Okay? And we're going to do 10 episodes. We're going to roll the dice to get the 4 or however many finalists we had, depending on how many hosts we're on. And you guys picked, and we did some really good stuff. Mom and Dad. What else did we do that season, Larry?
High Tension, Haut
Tension.
Frailty, Don't Kill It,
Don't Kill It. Okay.
and Rubber,
All right. So we did some good stuff, and we did Don't Kill It and Rubber as well.
Tusk.
You're not proving my point.
Come on.
One Cut of the Dead. We did some really fun stuff. But what ends up happening is that with those lists, and we only do 10 episodes per season, not all of them can get in there.
Right.
And you want to talk about most of these movies. So when we came up with the idea for this season, Season 3, which is called the Losers List, you said, hey, let's do this, and let me pick some movies that did not get the attention they deserve, right?
Yep.
So the first one we're going to talk about tonight is from 1987. It's a film called Street Trash. What list was that on, Larry?
That was in the first year.
That makes sense because the other one started in 2000.
2000s.
Right.
Yeah.
So on the first list, and I'm sure it ended up on a vote, but it just never got voted in.
I don't even remember it ended up on a vote.
Yeah.
But I mean, it had to have, right?
At some
Law
point.
of averages, I'm sure it was in there at some point.
At some point. Now, Street Trash, we'll give you some information about this. It came out in September of 1987. The director of this film, this is crazy, Larry. I don't know if you know about this or not.
I can't wait.
The director of this film is a guy named J. Michael Murrow. In the film, he's credited as Jim Murrow.
Close
Now,
enough.
this is the only film that he's ever directed.
Shocker.
But wait a minute.
Sorry. But wait,
there's more. So, without giving away too much, if you've never seen Street Trash, or if you ever have, this is a low budget, gritty, grimy body horror film.
Do you have budget?
I
didn't pull budget.
You know what? I did not pull budget.
Do we need budget?
I don't think we need budget.
All right.
I think it was pretty low.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty low. But anyway, so this J. Michael Murrow guy comes out and directs this film. And you think, oh, okay, you see the movie and you think, okay, this guy made one movie. It's low budget. J. Michael Murrow was a Steadicam operator in Hollywood who was sought after to the point that he was, for many years, James Cameron's Steadicam operator of choice.
The guy.
He made Terminator 2 with him. He made The Abyss with him. Some other films that he also was a Steadicam operator on. Heat.
Not a bad movie.
Clueless.
Okay.
Falling Down with Michael Douglas.
love that movie.
So this guy, and these all came afterwards, this guy had a very prolific career in movie making. Then he became a cinematographer. Here are some of the films he became a cinematographer on. Open Range with Kevin Costner, big sweeping Western, very cool movie.
Big movie.
Rush Hour 3. So I just throw those in there, and there's more. Because these are not street trash level films, you know what I mean? Street trash is...
They're also not as good as street trash,
Well,
but we'll get there.
We'll get there for sure. We'll certainly get there. This was written by a guy named... I love this guy's last name. Roy Frumkiss. Frumkiss. It sounds like the neighbor in a 70s sitcom that they never see. It's like, oh, you know who it is? The Frumkiss's cats again. But you never see Frumkiss. He ended up going on to write The Substitute. Remember that one with Tom Berenger?
Fucking do remember that. And Tom Berenger and J-Lo's ex-husband, the singer.
Oh, Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
Mark Anthony was the bad guy in that.
Yeah. Yes.
Tom Berenger.
Yeah, and Ernie Hudson.
Was he in that?
Ernie Hudson was the principal. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Tom Berenger, he did a lot. There was a period where Tom Berenger...
was kind of a badass, like...
The Substitute, and then he also did those sniper movies.
Yeah, I was going to say, like an ex-Marine type guy. And it worked. He worked. Not as much as he worked, the catcher of the Cleveland Indians.
So great.
But Jake Taylor... but yeah, no, he played The Substitute. Listen, I love The Substitute. I do.
His all-time best role, Platoon.
Fuck yeah.
He plays one of the fucking biggest piece of shits in cinema history.
Yes.
One of the biggest piece of shits in cinema history. Oh man, Platoon. So Roy Frumkiss, he also wrote and directed in 1980 a film called Document of the Dead.
Not a film.
With documentary.
Yeah.
About the making of...
He was the guy smart enough on the set of Dawn of the Dead, Romero's Dawn of the Dead, to keep the camera rolling.
Okay, so I've never seen this, and I kind of just read that it was... I read it was a documentary about Romero, but also specifically behind the scenes of Dawn.
Yep.
And he also, in Dawn, played the zombie who gets the pie in the face.
Yes.
And in this movie, there's a scene in this movie where a character is walking down the street.
And you get dripped on.
He gets dripped on.
Yeah.
Roy Frumkiss. Frumkiss.
Yeah. Bumper says.
I got to check this Document of the Dead out. You've seen this, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I own it. Yeah.
All right.
You should definitely watch it.
I'm going to check it out.
Cool stuff. If you're a fan of Dawn of the Dead, you will enjoy.
I am. I still think Day's better, but I will.
Okay.
I will check it out. All right. Let's talk about the cast in this thing.
Yeah.
Shabuya roll call.
Real easy cast list here because most of these people have done nothing since or before. Mike Lackey plays who I guess you can consider the focal character of Fred.
Yeah.
Fred is a hobo, a bum, whatever you want to.
Kind of looks like
Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes.
Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes looks like somebody who would play Jesus in like a 70s Bible epic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he has a purple velour hat.
He has that hat.
Yeah. The hat's it's kind of cool.
The hat is kind of cool.
It looks like with that hat on, he should be part of Fat Albert's gang. Right?
Mushmouth? Yeah.
Something like one of those guys.
When I was a kid, I never understood was he wearing a mask? What's going on?
I thought, when I was a kid, you know what I thought it was?
Bubblegum? Me too.
Yeah, I thought it was bubblegum.
Me too. Absolutely.
I was like, why does that guy have bubblegum on his head? Can't he get it off?
Yeah. I thought the same fucking thing.
Very strange.
That's really crazy. All right. So Mike Lackey was also one of the makeup artists in this film. There is a very famous scene where there is I almost said decapitated penis. A cut off penis.
You could cut the head off a penis.
Yeah.
So that could be decapitated.
They play hot potato with a decapitated penis.
Hot cock. Cock potato.
Cock potato. He created the prosthesis cocks in that. Bill Chappelle plays Bill the cop.
Right.
He is a cop in the film. He was also a real New York City cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. This film was...
It's a big dude, right?
He is a big dude.
Yeah. Big chest.
Big chest.
A lot of chest.
Yeah. Big neck. There's
believable.
He is believable as a cop.
When he was when he was threatening the gangster and getting out of the car, I'm like, I buy it.
Yeah.
I actually buy it. I bought which makes sense that he was a cop.
It makes sense that he was a cop. You're right.
Yeah. Tough guy.
He is a tough guy.
Yeah.
This film, I was going to say real quick, this film was filmed in and around Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And also some of the stuff was filmed in New Jersey. Vic Noto plays Bronson.
Now, he'd been in some stuff.
Bronson, the character or the actor, Vic Noto, Daredevil television show and The Sopranos. He has a bunch of
Death Wish 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He has a bunch of TV credits
Okay.
in the later half of his career.
Yep.
What
Another big fucking guy. Looked like a wrestler.
As I watched this movie, I thought, this movie's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
First of all, this movie's fucking nuts.
Well, I mean, just to put it in perspective, the guy's carrying around a human femur.
human femur
sharpened human femur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Who does
besides that, my thought process with the Bronson character
Yeah.
was like, he seems like an 80s professional wrestler.
Totally.
He's always yelling.
Yeah.
And this movie's weird, Larry.
Yeah.
This movie's weird. Let's talk about it. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Jane Arkawa played Wendy.
Yeah.
She is she works at again, this movie's weird, a very strange junkyard that a lot of the action takes place in. She is, her job at the junkyard apparently is she's kind of like the secretary / office manager.
Yeah.
And she spends her entire days just trying not to get
Trying
raped.
not to be raped.
Yeah.
She succeeds.
She totally succeeds.
Yeah. Which is, admirable in this movie.
It's super
To
admirable.
not get raped in this movie is admirable. Even if you're a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you survive as a guy in this movie and don't get raped, good job.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on
There's
here.
a lot of rape.
Pat Ryan, a.k.a. R.L. Ryan, plays Frank Schnitzer.
I see how you get RL from Pat.
Yeah, I don't get it, but it said he was credited as R.L., but
Okay.
it says his real name is Pat.
Okay.
Frank Schnitzer, he's the owner of the junkyard, also the gentleman who in this film attempts to rape.
He's the raper.
The raper, and he also has some necrophiliac sex with a corpse later on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was rough. I knew it was going to happen.
I wasn't sure at first.
I knew. I knew because I'd seen it before.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I watched it being like, he's gonna do that.
My first thought was he's gonna do the right thing and pull the body out of like the ditch
Did
it
he
was
seem
in.
like the kind of guy? Who was
He
gonna do the
didn't.
right
I
thing?
guess I'm the kind of guy that I try to give people too much credit.
I guess.
But you might know him from the Toxic Avenger. He is.
Yeah.
He was the mayor in the Toxic Avenger.
Yep.
And also he was in Mannequin. He died. Larry. He was in Mannequin.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He's dead?
1991. 1991.
God.
Yeah.
Actually, I knew that one. It's not 3 movies in a row.
And we're not going to get you another time. J.T. Walsh and Kevin Peter Hall knocked you
got me on
right the
both
fuck
of those.
out.
Yeah.
Interesting side note about this film: Bryan Singer, the director of The Usual Suspects and Superman Returns, was a production assistant on this film.
I'm sure he enjoyed every second.
He probably did.
I wonder how long it took to film this film.
I didn't see that. 13 weeks. It was actually 13 weeks. I did read that.
Okay.
I didn't write it down, but
It's
I did.
actually a lot longer than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
This looked like a 3-dayer. But
This definitely looks like a 3-day.
well, actually, no, because there's a lot of scenes. Think about it. There's a lot of scenes.
Hour and 41 minutes.
A lot of different scenes, a lot of different locations.
Yeah. I do want to give one more cast note out there
please.
because I think this is important. James Lorenz plays, he's credited 2 different ways if you look at it, as doorman or Italian restaurant doorman.
Yeah.
You might know him. We talked about, he was in one scene in RoboCop 3. He was the angry motorist, but he's most well known for Frankenhooker.
Yeah.
This guy is only in 2 or 3 scenes in this movie, and he is easily, and again, I'm not throwing my cards out there, he's the best part of this film because he seems to be one of the only people in the movie that's an actual actor, but he's also super humorous. His line delivery is great. He has like this really hardcore, maybe Long Island, New York accent, very, very real. It's because he has it in Frankenhooker as well.
Yep.
And the other thing is when I'm watching the movie, he looks like 1987 era Andrew McCarthy and James Spader had a baby together.
With Mark Patton.
With Mark, yeah. There's like, he's just like, he's got a little of that, a little of that, a
he
little of
could
that.
have easily been in the Brat Pack.
Yes.
Because he's good looking.
Yeah.
He's a good looking dude, but I don't know. I feel like he has too much of them. Like, if you put him in the Brat Pack, people would be like, whoa, what's happening? Like,
Yeah, well, they'd have to get rid of Judd Nelson.
Somebody.
He's like the Judd Nelson-y character.
Yeah.
But Italian restaurant doorman.
Yeah. There's gotta be another cast member there.
Well, I don't have him written down, but there was a guy that I thought was Kimbo Slice.
Oh, Jesus. No, it was definitely not Kimbo Slice. He's dead.
He is dead.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
All right. Tony Darrow. You got to talk about
Tony Darrow, who was in...
He's like the mob boss. He was in Goodfellas. He's the one who ran the restaurant. He's like, what the fuck you doing? It's like I'm half a fucking fag over here. He's fucking hitting me.
Oh, okay. I didn't...
He's going to Paulie for the help because Tommy is fucking with him all the time.
I read...
He's like, I need you to back my fucking restaurant. What the fuck you think I'm asking you for?
Okay. I read in the credits of this that he was in Goodfellas, but I could not look, no offense, but I love Goodfellas. As an Italian-American, watching Goodfellas and trying to pick the Italian guy out isn't always easy.
He's in Analyze This. He's in Mickey Blue Eyes. He's in a ton of stuff. And he sang the song that ended the movie Street Trash. So
does he sing that weird fucking song?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. And by the way, Analyze This. Great movie. Analyze That. Not good at all. Remember that? They
Analyze That's the one where they try to be actors,
Yes.
right? Yeah, no, that was stupid.
Kathy Moriarty came into it.
Which I love Kathy Moriarty.
I do too.
And it was great to see De Niro and Moriarty together. That's the first time since Raging Bull.
Yeah.
I would think they've been together.
Didn't work though.
No, it was
the
all...
first
she was
one?
kind of like a mob boss. Like,
She's the boss that and he's now outed, like people know.
Right.
But that movie was really good. The first one.
Yeah.
When there's a scene where, remember he has that, the big fat guy is like his
Jelly?
Jelly.
Yeah.
And he's Jelly's there and he's telling someone about his dream and he's like, my mother's breasts were leaking black milk, and Jelly's at the door and he goes, "That's fucked up." It was fucking funny shit.
Was that the Analyze This, was that the one where Billy Crystal like took over the meeting pretending to be
Yes.
that was a good scene.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. I'm here as his consigliere.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a movie that when it came out, and I think that was after
Remember
I
he slaps Jelly across the face? You broke my heart, Jelly.
Yes. That was a movie when that came out. I used to watch quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that in many years. Much like Throw Mama from the Train and another Billy Crystal movie. I'm going to have to, like we talked about that not too long ago, I'm going to have to just have a night where I watch these movies again.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to mention in the we had done the Christy Swanson episode earlier. I wanted to say in that movie I was waiting the whole time for her to throw a basketball through Anne Ramsey's head, but it never happened, unfortunately.
There was that Deadly Friend, right?
Yes.
I've never seen that movie, but I've seen that scene a million times.
Yeah,
because it's like a fucking ceramic head, right?
Yeah, and it's all over the place. It's not a bad movie. It's fun. It's fucking super violent.
Wes Craven, right?
Yep. And you've got Albert Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie.
I wouldn't know anything
He's
about
the
that.
star. It's his movie.
Yeah, and this is his last movie too.
Yeah, it was his vehicle, and it didn't go over so well.
So the idea of Street Trash, Larry.
Yeah. Oh, there's an idea?
Here's the thing, and I want to talk about this right off the bat.
Let's get in there.
So Street Trash.
Yeah.
If you look at the cover of the VHS or the whatever the DVD,
yep,
you read a synopsis about it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I had been vaguely aware of what this movie is about. I knew it was the movie about the booze that melts people, right? But here's the thing. You read these things and it essentially tells you that the basic plot of Street Trash is a liquor store owner finds this case behind the wall in his basement of his store.
Yep.
And it's
he says it's from 60 years ago, but it looks like it was just made last week.
The labels are not 1920.
That's not 1920s labels.
So this is 87.
A lot of printing, a lot of purples, a lot of...
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I was like...
Because even when I looked it up on Wikipedia...
I've seen bottles in 1920s.
Yeah.
And it was generally one color on the label.
If it had a label at all.
Yeah, it was like... If it had a label, it was beige with black ink. And that's really about it. Maybe black with beige ink. That's about...
The other way around?
Yeah. That's about it.
So... They tell you in this that it's 60 years old in 1987.
Yeah.
Okay, we're already calling bullshit on that because, like again, was purple even a color in 1920?
I don't think so.
I think purple was invented around the 60s.
I was going to say hippies. I think hippies invented purple.
Hippies invented purple and brought that along.
Definitely. Probably Canned Heat, like the band Canned Heat.
Heat?
Yeah, they probably invented purple.
Yeah.
On the road again.
You think it was Poco?
On the road again.
It was, who were those? In the summer? It was Mungo Jerry.
Mungo Jerry.
Yeah.
In the summertime when the weather is hot.
Inventing purple. Brand new colors.
It was like the first beatbox, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Fucking the video. The guy's fucking sideburn chops.
Intense.
Super intense.
Intense. Some great band names back then.
Oh, super.
Mungo Jerry. Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Strawberry Alarm Clock is really good. What's the one? Moby Grape.
Yes. Man.
Moby Grape.
What a time to be alive, huh?
Yeah. We won't know. We weren't alive then.
No, I wasn't. No. I wasn't there.
70s babies. All right.
Yeah, disco.
So So everything in everything you read about this tells you that's what it's about. It's about this liquor that melts
Ass is itchy.
the bums. Is your ass itchy?
It is, but it's good now.
It's good. You got it. Here's not a problem, but here's the interesting thing about this movie.
Yeah, it's not really about that.
Holy cow. So the movie starts and we get right into that, right?
Yeah.
So the guy puts the stuff out for sale. We get introduced to
But there's a whole beginning of like bums like robbing each other.
bums
right?
robbing each other and an incredible action sequence
Yes.
that are
A chase, like a foot chase.
a foot chase,
Yeah.
right? Or like almost as good as the one in Point Break.
Right.
Where Fred tries to steal some
Except they're not wearing president masks.
No. He tries to steal some hooch.
Yeah.
He gets chased out. We also find out that he's also running away from another bum named Whizzer.
Wizzy.
He tries to steal some money from
Wizzy?
him. Wizzy, yeah.
Wizzy.
He ends up going into an apartment complex that's on fire.
On fire.
And also he goes into the one room where everybody's fucking.
Everybody's fucking, and he smacks that girl's ass.
Smacks the
He's
girl's
like, hey,
ass.
building's on fire.
Let's everybody get out of here. Building's on fire. The girl with the giant bush gets up. Everybody's their dicks are flapping
There's
around.
giant bush. There is such big bush in this movie.
Huge bush.
Yeah, like crazy.
She has unkempt
She's
bush.
more bush
Yeah.
than human.
Yeah.
Like they're it's just bush and then like part arm, like 2-part arm sticking out, 2-part legs sticking out, and the rest is just bush. It's insane. It is crazy. But that scene, every time I've seen that fucking scene 25 times, and it cracks me up every time because he just runs in there, tells him, hey, fire, and the girl gets up and he just smacks her ass. And then they all start running down the stairs. Like, you're right. There's just dicks flapping.
Dicks everywhere. They're carrying like as much as they can out. Like they got their little portable TVs. The girl's bush is like leading the way down the fucking stairs.
The bush is carrying shit on its own.
The bush has the fucking the bush has the Nintendo in its hands.
Hasn't even come out yet. Bush has it anyway.
The bush got an Intellivision fucking held up against it. Fucking Atari. So they get out and
the bush is wearing isotoner gloves.
Dan Marino sold them to it. Movie was in the 80s, by the way.
Oh God!
So Fred gets out. Like we have this whole moment. He gets out. He goes to this liquor store where we know the guy has found this stuff. What a deal, though! Like this guy, you would think he's selling.
He's trying to make money.
He's trying to make money. But
He's down there, and he's like, oh, all this crap. Nothing can make me money down here. He's talking about money. He needs to make money. He wants to make money. So what does he price it at?
$1.
$1. He's only got about what, maybe 50 bottles in there?
It's a 50 case, 36 maybe.
Yeah, and some of because he pulls a couple out and they're busted.
Right.
So there's maybe 30 good ones.
Yeah.
He's gonna make $30.
Yeah, it seemed weird that like he wouldn't go for $3 or $4.
Right.
Because even in '87, a little bottle of hooch like that, you know, it's not $1.
Also seemed weird that he didn't try it first.
Well, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's got that whole "I don't fuck with my product" thing. You know,
You don't get high in your own
don't
supply.
get high on your own supply.
All right. Doesn't strike me as that type of guy.
What was the name of it too? It's Viper,
It was
Tenafly Viper,
Tenafly Viper.
right? So he puts it out, and Fred pops in, and the thing I noticed right away off of this is that this guy has got a super antagonistic relationship with all of his fucking all of his customers.
Yeah, he doesn't like. Well, all of his customers are bums.
Yeah, they're all scumbags, but he's also a scumbag.
Yeah.
And it's not like, hey, Fred, I'm here to get. He's just like, what the fuck are you doing here, you fuck?
You again.
Yeah. Oh, you fucking smelly bastard.
But it seems like these are the only people who give him business.
Yeah.
You might want to be a little nicer, maybe get a couple extra bucks out of him.
Yep. So
No, not this guy.
Fred hawks over the $1 and gets his little bottle.
No, he doesn't.
Does
Fred
he steal
steals it?
You're right.
He duck walks behind him. Like the guy goes outside.
That was super weird. Like how he
Yeah.
that was really weird.
like
he crouches down.
Yeah, he duck walks behind him, crouches down, follows him inside. The guy obviously can't hear this dude walking right behind him. But then he finally bumps into something, manages to grab a bottle, put it in his jacket, and run out. The guy chases him. We get another foot chase scene.
The Wizard's back at again. Yeah.
Yeah, we get another foot chase scene. At the end of it, he ends up losing. He ends up losing the bottle. Somebody takes the bottle.
One of
from
the
him.
other bums takes it from him.
This is basically bum fights.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, if you know what bum fights is, like there was some guy. This was in the age of like Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah, this is like early 2000s.
Yeah, so when video cameras and like taping normal, quote unquote normal people became a thing, and some guy went out there and was just like, hey, I'm going to fucking give some bum $10 to punch some other bum.
Yeah.
And started videotaping it and put out a movie called Bum Fights. Not a movie, but just basically a videotape full of bums punching bums for $5. This is basically what this is, but fake because it's a movie.
Isn't not to sound dumb, but is
it fake?
Isn't Bum Fights how Kimbo Slice started too?
No.
Okay.
He started backyard fights.
Okay, backyard fights.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
wasn't fighting. Imagine Kimbo Slice fighting like homeless people.
Fighting
like,
a bunch of homeless people.
Yeah, because Kimbo Slice could actually punch hard. Couldn't fight,
Right.
as got proved when he got knocked out by the 4'9" guy with pink hair. Did you ever see that
No.
one? Oh yeah, he was supposed to fight Ken Shamrock.
Oh, geez.
And at this time, Kimbo Slice was undefeated in the octagon. He wasn't fighting the UFC, but he was in one of the outshoots, and he was like being, he gained popularity on YouTube, fighting people in backyards and looking hard as fuck. Like,
Right.
Just he knocked a dude's eye out on YouTube. Like,
Life.
yeah, and I mean, it was like, you're not fucking, nobody's beating this guy. And then he goes into this, I can't remember what it was, but it was like a UFC offshoot. And I think his first fight was against Tank Abbott.
Bellator.
Or like one of those things.
Yeah.
He fights Tank Abbott, who was like a UFC
I know.
legend,
I know,
but
yeah.
a UFC legend 20 years past his prime.
Right.
Knocks the fucking piss out of Tank Abbott, just beats the shit out of him. But Tank Abbott's all done. Like, he's not a
Right.
good fighter anymore, but still, it's made to look, Kimbo Slice look, good. So next fight against Ken Shamrock, another washed up guy, but still a big name. And Ken Shamrock was in really good shape at that time still. Ken Shamrock's still probably in really good shape. Shamrock gets hurt the day before the fight. I think in training, like busted his hand or something. So they're like, fuck, we've got a pay-per-view. Like, we can't lose this. Who can we get to fight Kimbo Slice in the last minute? They get like a legit MMA guy, but he's literally like, and I exaggerated, I called him 4'9". He's probably like 5'7" or 8.
Right.
Skinny, pink hair. Like, literally looks like a dude you would see at like a fucking, I don't know, like a goddamn emo show. And so they throw him in there against Kimbo Slice, and it's like laughable. Like, oh my God, Kimbo Slice is going to fucking rip this dude's head off. Dude knocks Kimbo out cold. The
Yeah.
first round. Just dusts him. Like, holy shit. Fucking cash registers fucking empty. Like, this dude's never going to be.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over, Johnny.
It's over, Johnny.
Yeah, this dude, I mean, he still had some more fights and did some movies and things like that, but he was never taken seriously again as a legitimate. What he should have done from the get-go was boxing. But the thing was, by the time he was discovered, he was already in his fucking early 30s.
Yeah, he was not young.
You
Yeah.
can't start boxing in your early 30s. Like, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Oscar De La Hoya, they start when they're 5 years old.
Right.
Like, so we went off on a huge tangent just to tell you that, bum fights.
Bum fights. So, so what I was trying to say before is, so now the guy steals from Fred.
Yep.
He takes the Tenafly Viper. He drinks it down.
Yep.
He's sitting on a toilet as
Yeah.
he does this.
Yeah.
And this is where we get the famous, or at least pretty famous, I think, poster of this film.
Yeah. It's the cover of the Blu-ray. Yeah.
What happens to him, Larry?
It just melts. So
Are
there's
those colors in our body at all?
definitely not.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Definitely not. But I'll say right now, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
The colorfulness. Like, right, like, what would, if you were artsy, you would call it the palette of the movie, whatever. You're in Brooklyn, Queens, mid-'80s, very dreary place.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the Brooklyn of today.
Yeah, this is not where all the hipsters are living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is not This is not Mike Tyson's Brooklyn.
Right.
All right.
Although Fred looks like he could be a 2000s hipster.
Definitely does, especially with that fucking purple hat.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not today's Brooklyn. This is like a dirty Brooklyn. Everything is gray and dirty. All the people are dirty. But then when he drinks this, the Viper, like all of a sudden he just starts gagging and you're like, oh God, what's going to happen to this dude? He just starts melting into all these very vibrant colors,
Yellows,
purples and pinks and yellows but it's like, it's gross. Like his arms are melting and the bones are there. His feet his feet are like stuck to the floor and his leg bones come out of the shoes. Like
he's reaching for the flusher.
I think to
try to help himself, but like
he flushes the bottom half of his body down the toilet. And then he turns into, what's left is just like this pool of goo that looks kind of like Belial from Basket Case, right? Like in the toilet, like
this like face that's bubbling from the toilet, like from the bowl itself, and We jump forward a little bit to a cop who is, you know, the Bill Cop character who is like at the morgue trying to figure out what happened here. And this is where I want to say. So first of all, I want to point out that 80s horror movie, the morgue attendant is eating.
Oh, fuck. I was like, are you fucking... And I didn't remember... I haven't seen it in probably a few years. And I had to laugh because we talk about that all the fucking time.
He's eating a sandwich as
Every
he's doing.
goddamn horror movie,
Yep.
if there's a morgue attendant, he's eating.
Yep. Put the sandwich on top of the body.
On top of
Yeah.
the body. Like, what the fuck, guys?
So this movie promises you a film about the Viper
Yeah.
booze that's killing off people on the streets.
Yeah.
We get this one, and I think we get one more death pretty quickly after this one.
Yep.
For the next hour, that whole plot is gone.
Yeah.
It then becomes a series of what I would consider loosely connected vignettes of these guys' lives,
Yeah.
which include, so I'm going to run through a few of them.
Go ahead.
Bill the cop
Yep.
is trying to figure out what's going on with these deaths,
Mm-hmm.
but he's looking for Bronson.
Yep.
Bronson is an ex-Vietnam vet who is a total fucking nut job,
Yep.
who lives in the junkyard we talked about before,
Yeah. On top of a pile
on
of
top
tires.
of a pile of tires, along with his very strange crackheadish
Yeah.
woman who is like, Becky, please fuck me. And
Yeah.
it's super awkward.
Yeah.
And then like the first scene they show them in together is, I think she's wearing tighty whities.
Yeah.
And she's like laying across him.
Yeah. And he's like rubbing her. All weirdly.
And okay, so then we got, that's one of the plots
And he's like the leader.
of this
There's
crew.
like two different crews
Right.
of bums. Bum's not a great word, but these are bums. These are
Yeah.
bums. There's two crews, one led by Bronson that includes like people like Wheezy who are always ripping people off.
Right.
And so Bronson's the bad guy.
He's
because
the
he's
bad guy.
crazy. He's a Vietnam vet that
We-
went through some shit.
We get Vietnam flashbacks in this
We
movie.
get flashbacks.
We get one flashback where
of Vietnam vampires. Like
what he saves a woman
yeah.
and then they fuck on the beach.
Yeah, but then there's like vampires too.
Were there
right?
vampires?
There were like Asian women vampires.
Yeah,
at one
you're
point.
right.
Yeah,
This
never
movie-
really
this
understood
movie's
it.
fucking
I didn't
weird.
have to understand it. I was like, I like Asian vampires. I'm cool with it. So then that's like the bad guy bums, and then I guess like Fred leads the good guy. Does he lead? I don't know if anybody leads them, but he's got his friends, right? He's got the black guy, Bert.
Kimbo Slice.
Bert?
Yeah,
Is his name Bert?
he wears a gas mask.
Wears a gas mask.
Yeah.
Steals a lot of stuff from grocery stores.
Again, that's another thing I was going to say is
Raw chicken
we
in
have
his
we have a
shoe.
10-minute scene.
Yeah.
Where a 10-minute scene
Ten's being...
You
It
think
might
it's
be
12?
longer.
Yeah.
It might be longer.
where he goes to a grocery store.
Picture Animal House.
Yeah.
When they're doing the prank. When, was it Otter is... Not Otter, because he's one of the upperclassmen. Pinto.
Pinto.
Is stealing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, except pants only.
What-
Like he's got really big, almost like waiters, right?
How
He's
did he
almost
fit
wearing
all
waiters.
that shit in those pants?
Because they're like waiters.
He threw in at least 10 pounds of chicken.
Did you notice he started with condiments?
He started with condiments.
Mustard,
One of my favorite
hot
bits.
sauce.
One of my favorite bits is that he's throwing so much stuff down there. He throws full-size cans of stuff.
Yeah.
One of my-
Kool-Aid packets.
And then he gets to a watermelon. He looks at it and shakes his head like, nope, can't do that. 'Cause it's too big.
But he took another melon. He took like a cantaloupe.
Two cantaloupes.
Yeah.
And then they show a long shot of him,
Yeah.
and his pants aren't falling down or anything.
Yeah. It's because I think they're like waiters.
So
They're like,
so a woman, like an old uppity white woman,
yeah.
sees him.
Today we'd call her a Karen.
We would call her Karen. She tells her that she's gonna get the manager. She gets the manager. The manager is another African American guy,
Yeah.
and he's very much like, I know you're stealing, and the Burt character's like, basically telling him that, like, he pretty much calls him like a
He's
Tom.
like, yeah, but he's like, I got a receipt.
Right, I got a receipt which he picked up outside.
Yeah.
So all this is just kind of going towards, whatever. But then it ends in the most incredible way ever, where he just walks through the front window of the
With
store.
a bag on his head.
With a bag. He puts
He just
a bag
takes
over
a
his head.
brown paper bag, puts in. First, he says, "You know what? I'm going to talk to your boss." And instead of that, he just puts a brown paper bag on his head and walks straight through the glass window outside.
This has to be before tempered glass because
He just walks straight
he
through.
just walks through it. And then There's also like that weird like security bar
Yeah.
in front of
Yeah.
the building that you have to like walk through.
Yep.
And he just goes right
but
through
while
it.
so he gets outside and he takes the bag off now. And while he's walking, if you pay attention, there's just all this raw chicken falling
Dripping and falling. Yeah.
out of the bottom of his pants.
But he does what he said he was going to do when he gets back. They have barbecue chicken for dinner
They
that
do.
night.
I just don't know why he needed the Kool-Aid and mustard.
I don't know. Maybe he has a pantry somewhere.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, so that's one of his boys, right? Because they're all eating together. And then there's Fred's little brother.
Yeah, his little Kevin. Was it Kevin?
I don't know.
Who
Could be Kevin.
They live.
Let's
in,
call him Kevin.
They
I don't
live
know
in
his
the
name.
junkyard in a castle made of tires.
Castle made of tires that you have to go through a car to get through. So picture, if you will, you've made a home out of piled tires, right? There's like a roof and all. Like,
Yeah.
And instead of a door to your home, there's a car. So you have to open a car door and then get out the other side of the car door, and then you're in your tire home.
Yep.
And inside the tire home, they have beds.
There's next to the bed, he had like a Spider-Man and Hulk,
Spider-Man and a Hulk.
like bank
There
or
was
something.
a Ouija board in there.
Yeah.
There's been a whole bunch of stuff in there. So I guess maybe there's a fridge in there, which is where they put their chicken. I didn't see where they cooked this chicken.
No, me neither.
A little concerned because, you got to cook chicken to a certain temperature or you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
A little concerned.
We also meet the owner of the junkyard, who's a real scumbag.
Yeah.
Right, the Schnitzler, the Schnitzler character.
Schnitzler. Let's call it the Schnitzler. Call him Schnitzler.
We meet Wendy, who
There's a lot going on in this junkyard.
There's a lot in this movie.
Yeah, there is a lot.
For a movie that tells you it's about a booze that melts homeless people or bums or whatever you want to say that they are in this film.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're calling them street trash in the title.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We start with that.
Yep.
We go for an hour before we get back to that.
Right.
Then the last...
Then you're mixing in gangsters.
Right. Then go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah, because, all right, so we've gone from the Tenafly Viper.
Right.
And then we go into kind of the, like you said, like an hour of the bum situation. Not the Bonnie situation.
No.
But the bum situation where it's like these rival gangs of bums. And can I mention, now I know bums are supposed to be dirty, but why did they all just look like they finished sweeping out a chimney in 1500s England?
Yeah, well, the tires.
Right,
Maybe the tires.
I don't know. They lit, like watch
Tires
Oliver
are
Twist.
dirty, dude. I used to work with tires.
But like that dirty?
They
Like they're
live
all covered
inside
in
tires.
soot. They're covered in.
They live in tires, Larry.
Okay, all right. I'll give it to you.
If your wall is a tire, let's say you get up in the middle of the night, take a leak, and you walk into your wall. You've just walked into a fucking tire.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
It just looks sooty to me. And,
Yeah. No, you're right.
But it doesn't matter. None of them wipe it off at any point. I guess maybe it's a moot point. It's a soot point. Whatever. So you're dealing with that, and then like you said, there's the cop who is trying to figure out about these killings, and then for a minute there's another cop, like a well-built cop, comes in like with a tight
yeah, he disappeared.
tight tank top.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, oh, hey, and then he's gone.
Gone.
Like it's not sure how he helped the plot. And then all of a sudden there's your boy from Frankenhooker. He's standing outside eating some chicken, wearing a doorman's costume, and
Before that, so he's on the front side of the restaurant.
Yeah.
On the side,
oh, that's right, the girl's throwing up.
this girl's throwing up. Very, very, very well dressed, attractive woman.
Yeah.
And as she's throwing up, our hero character, Fred, kind of comes along.
Fred the bum.
Fred the bum,
Yeah.
kind of comes along, and essentially she's just
Well,
starts
she's like, Nikki, I want to fuck.
right. She's
And,
like,
he-
oh,
and now the first thing you need to know is he's not Nikki.
right,
Right.
but he
She-
doesn't care.
She keeps saying, Nikki, we gotta fuck right now. I want you to pull it all the way in.
All the way in me.
Like, which makes me, he plays just the tip a lot. Which,
Right.
Right?
Right. No,
like-
yeah. We look, Nikki, normally on like a Saturday night after a good dinner, I'll blow you and then we'll play just the tip. Tonight I want it all in me.
all.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder how much there is, actually. Like, how much is there
Yeah.
that he doesn't always put all in?
Nick the Dick, maybe.
Because I got to put all in. Like
All in.
me.
All in.
It's not far that I
Yeah.
got to be.
You do one half push, all in.
All
yeah.
in,
I'm
yeah.
not. Yeah, I'm with you.
Nikki apparently doesn't have to go all in. But tonight, she wants Nikki to go all in. And like I said, you need to remember, Fred's not Nikki.
Right. And
But
Fred,
it doesn't matter to Fred.
Again,
Yeah.
whenever you want to think for a second that Fred is like our hero and our
Yeah.
protagonist, remember that he willingly takes this drunk woman back to
Right. This is what's about to happen.
junkyard,
Yeah,
right?
Fred's our good guy. She's saying, Nikki, we gotta fuck. She's so drunk she doesn't see that this is not Nikki, who will find out who Nikki is shortly. So they actually stumble past the doorman, and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck are you guys doing?" And he's like, "Oh, she's drunk. I'm just gonna take her back." And he doesn't do nothing. He just-
doesn't stop anything.
He's like, "Yeah, whatever." He just keeps eating his chicken. So Fred takes her back to the junkyard and through the car door entrance to the tire palace, and then proceeds to fuck her
What? So they fuck
on
on like the
on the
rear
bench seat
on a bench seat of
of a
a
car.
old car.
yeah.
What happens that he gets mad at her? Right? 'Cause
He was done.
he was done, but she was like ready to go more, and he's just like, "Get away from me!" Like
she's like, "Let's do it again," and she's like, "Kiss me," and he's like, "Get away from me." He's done. He finished. He's angry now. He doesn't want to. I don't think he's mad at himself that he basically he raped this girl.
right. Oh,
It's
yeah.
not basically.
Yeah, no. He,
you know.
he totally did. And
We can learn this from Anthony Michael Hall in 16 Candles. If a girl thinks you're so drunk that she thinks you're somebody else,
yeah,
don't have sex with her.
yeah,
And sorry, John Hughes, but
yeah.
Anthony Michael Hall raped that girl.
Revenge of the Nerds.
I brought that up. Somebody didn't even realize that the other day.
Super.
I'm like, Lewis fucking raped.
Lewis totally raped her.
Yeah,
he pretended to be
he pretended to be Roger.
Roger.
Yeah, he totally raped her. And here we are in Street Trash. Same deal. This girl's so drunk, she thinks you're Nikki. You're not Nikki. You're Fred the bum, and you raped her. And now she wants to kiss, and he's like, "Get the fuck away from me!" But unfortunately for her, all the other bums, which I guess were from
the
Bronson gang,
Bronson camp. Yeah.
they saw him bring her in there.
They actually stand outside of the castle of tires and are like listening to them fuck, and like they're like all making noises, and
Yeah.
it's like the end of Midsummer when all
Yeah.
the so
Which how can you keep like? I know the guy was on drugs in Midsummer.
yeah.
But like when they're all in my face going,
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta, guys, I can't finish.
Very strange.
I'm not gonna
Very
be
strange.
able to finish if you keep this up.
Because-
I'm gonna need you guys to turn around.
They drugged him with that period lemonade, is what it was. He at no point did he say,
Yeah.
"Why is my lemonade the only one? Why is mine the only raspberry lemonade?"
yeah. Little did he know he'd be in a bear shortly.
Yes,
but whatever.
So, in what is maybe the like truly most terrifying scene in Street Trash,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the death scenes in Street Trash are, as you said before, people melting into multicolored like wax things.
Yeah.
But these bums, after she is now laying prone on this seat and Fred has ditched her,
Yeah.
they fucking start ripping the tire castle apart,
Yep.
and they drag her out
Fully drag
by her hair.
like caveman style, like just drag her out.
We do not see what happens to her. We know what happens to her
Oh, yeah.
until the next day when the 500-pound guy that runs the
Would you call him Schlinky?
Schlinky, Schnitzmeyer,
Yeah.
when he finds her corpse, and then just when you'd think in death she has rest, we get him.
This was after he tried to rape the Asian.
yes,
Yeah, he was
Yes.
trying. Well, she'd mentioned that he was always very rapey. She said, "You're always fucking
Yeah.
trying to touch me. You're always blah blah blah." But then we get a scene where he's like, first of all, keep in mind he's like 500 pounds, and this
Yeah.
girl cannot be more than $110, soaking wet.
Oh, right. This scene, yes. When
And so she's in like a rolling, like one of those old school office chairs, right? Like with the short back, but it's like a kind of like a thick leather, but that has like the casters on the bottom
Yeah.
and rolls around. She's sitting on that, and this motherfucker's like laying on top of her.
and he plays dead.
Yeah, and he plays dead, and she like the phone's ringing, and she can't get to it because he's laying on top of her. And I mean, he's just like, "Oh, you want it," like just trying to rape her. Thankfully, she gets out of it and doesn't get raped. So this guy's already tried to rape this girl. Now, the next day, he finds the unfortunate woman who thought she was screwing Nikki, finds her corpse near the water, near his tire, because you always put the tire factory near the water so you can run your waste into the fucking...
Optimal smells right there.
Yeah. So he finds the corpse, and you're like, if you have a decent bone in your body, you're like, oh, maybe he'll call the cops.
Well, we see him moving her.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, whatever happens. Now we get back to the junkyard.
Yeah.
Because this is a scene where a bum is pissing through
Oh,
like he's pissing out of a hole in a wall, and he ends up pissing on Bronson.
Yeah.
And Bronson takes his femur bone knife and cuts the guy's dick off. And then for about, I'd say, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
We have this incredible, which is probably the most well-known scene from what I've read about this movie.
Yeah.
This scene of hot potato with a bum's dick.
Yeah, they're just playing keep away.
Keep away.
They're like, guys in the middle, his dick's gone, and these guys are just throwing the dick back and forth.
He finally gets the dick back.
Yeah.
Because he's like, gotta get it on ice. And I laughed out loud at the scene of him holding onto the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Just the way they shot that.
Yeah.
He's on the back of a school bus. The camera's right behind him, and he's just holding on, like you could see with something in his hand.
Yeah.
Like trying to get to a hospital.
Yeah.
So as that's happening, we flip back
Yeah.
to the scene of Schnitzel or whatever his name is,
Right.
and the corpse of the young lady, and he's zipping his pants up.
He's zipping up. Like, oh.
The Manster couldn't be on this episode tonight, but he was not a fan of this movie, and we'll
No.
give his rating later. But he did say something very true. This movie is not kind to females.
Oh, no.
We've said the word rape a lot,
Yeah.
which isn't really something we do a lot here. So,
This movie is not kind to females. It's not kind to black people.
Yeah.
It's not kind to Jewish people.
and as I mentioned
It's not
before,
kind to bums. It's not kind to cops.
Frumkiss, the writer, wrote the script in hopes of offending every group on the planet. And I could see
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
So all this craziness is happening. We kind of start sliding into the last 20 minutes of the movie. And as
Right.
we slide into the last 20 minutes of the movie,
Oh, but we also find out that Nikki,
we
Right?
gotta get back to that. Nikki, yeah.
so Nikki, who this unfortunate, did we ever even learn her name? I don't think we did. Nikki, that this poor woman.
we do. They say her name several times.
All right. Nikki, who the poor woman thought she was having sex with, turns out to be a gangster.
Yeah.
Like it seems like the Don, like the guy.
He is a big guy, yeah.
Yeah, like so now we've got mafia involved as well.
Yep.
So what we thought, or not me, but what John probably thought, first time watch, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what you thought was just going to be people melting because of drinking booze has now taken this turn into this weird back and forth between these rival hobo gangs. This what's going on with these people working at this tire factory, and now you've got a gangster and a cop out trying to. It's a whole bunch of different.
20 minutes after the second Viper related death, I started saying to myself, what happened to the Viper? Like, because this movie literally just became like a series of vignettes of, these homeless men's lives,
Right.
Their adventures and raping and,
Right.
and oh, now we got the mafia.
There's like a good long time in between people drinking Viper and melting.
an hour.
Yeah.
So it's an hour and 40 minutes. I would say the first couple deaths all happened in the first 15 to 20 minutes. There's easily 40 to 50 minutes of nothing about that.
Right.
Just Bronson, flashbacks, this sudden mafia subplot, which we go back to several times. We go to a scene of them in the police station with the doorman.
It almost seems to not even be part of the same movie.
Total,
yeah.
Same universe, different movie,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not playing my cards about this movie, but I really would have loved to have seen a movie
With those
about
two.
the mafia Don and about fucking the James Lorenz doorman character.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of great acting in this movie, but James Lorenz and the guy who plays the mafia Don are both very good.
Yeah.
They have a good rapport.
Yep.
James Lorenz is fucking great in this.
Yeah.
He is so deadpan, and every one of his lines is he's just constantly fucking throttling the mafia Don.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned before, when they're in that scene, I think we talked about it off air. They're in that scene where they're with the cop, and he's just going at him, and the cop's like, I can't protect you once you leave here, right? And he's like, witness relocation. And he's like, no,
it doesn't work.
no,
like
it doesn't work like that. Great stuff. So we get towards the end of the movie, and we get back to the Tenafly Viper. I think he goes back. He gets another bottle of it.
Yep.
It ends up getting taken, I think, by the big fat bum who blows up, right? Does he take it first?
No. He has a zone. So Fred went back and he had $1, and he went back and got his own bottle. And he sits down and he's about to drink it, but like 10 feet to the left of him is another bum who has his own bottle, and he drinks it, and Fred hears him like gargling, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, Fred he's almost about to, he like keeps putting the bottle to his lips, but then he gets up to find out what all these noises are next to him, and he sees this fat guy is just I'll use the which Harry Potter was it? I think the Prisoner of Azkaban. When at the beginning, Harry was it Harry or Dobby who did it? I don't know. Blows up his aunt to like the size of a fucking hot air balloon, and she just floats outside the house. It's basically what's happening. Or even a better, turn into Violet from fucking Willy Wonka.
Except this guy fucking blows up.
Yeah, unlike Violet.
Violently and horribly.
Yeah.
He just fucking, there's meat and chunks, purple greens and everything everywhere.
Right. So fucking sees this happen. He knows now that it's the Viper. Hold on. Did the guy who owned the liquor store melt in front of him first?
He runs back to tell the guy to stop selling it.
That's what it is. Yeah,
which I didn't really believe. Why does Fred care? He's a fucking piece of shit too.
Right.
But he runs all the way back.
Yeah.
And as he gets back there, the guy who owns the place decides to try it out.
Yeah, and he comes out, he stumbles out, and he's fucking spitting and melting. And Fred's just standing there. Don't get it on me. Then move, you asshole.
Yeah.
They take 700 steps back.
Yeah.
Like, don't be anywhere near this guy when he explodes. So then what happens is he's like, you know what? I'm going to fucking get this bottle to Wheezy, because Wheezy's the dickhead that's been...
Right, antagonizing him. Yeah, it says he owes him money. Yeah, the whole thing.
Right. So he orchestrates like kind of a fake fight and lets Wheezy think that he stole it from him. But then Bert comes over and steals it back, and Fred's like, no, give it to Wheezy. And so Wheezy gets the bottle and drinks it, and he fucking melts, explodes.
Melts away as well, yeah.
We missed a fight scene in between Bronson and the big cop, which, had it gone like 5 minutes longer, could have been They Live type proportions.
It was good. It was better than it should have been.
A little longer.
Yeah.
And because there was some good body slams.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and he fucking, I like the fact that like Bronson,
did he stab him with the femur?
He stabs him with the femur bone, breaks it off in his back.
Yeah.
So like the whole second half of the fight, the guy's got the knife in his back, but it's broken off, and he's obviously like fighting while he's trying to he can't get it out.
Right.
Center of the back.
Right.
They have this really long fight, and it basically ends with Bronson getting on top of him and he's slamming him into the ground, and the knife's going in further and further. He kills him. And I think right after that, or right before that, is when his weird crackheaded girlfriend in the tighty whities drinks the Tenafly Viper in front of him.
Yeah.
And she fucking also just fucking erupts into a fucking...
Yeah, it was a little after that. It was after that fight. It all starts to melt together.
Yeah, it definitely melts together. This movie definitely kind of melts together. So essentially at the end, Bronson goes to the junkyard.
Yeah.
And at this point, the brother of, I think his name is Kevin, right?
This part is just so insane. So we didn't really... So the Asian girl,
she has a soft spot.
Yeah, the Asian girl who works in the tire palace or the junkyard. Is it a junkyard? I guess it's a junkyard.
It's a junkyard.
Yeah. So she kind of takes care of the good bums, right? She hangs out with them. She brings them food.
To the chagrin of the owner.
To the chagrin of fat owner, the guy.
Yeah.
He fucking hates that she does this, but she takes care of them. One in particular is Fred's younger brother. So there's a scene where they're I think they're outside just talking. Yeah, they're just outside talking. Right. She's like sitting in front of him. She's wearing a skirt. She's got her legs crossed. He's sitting there, and like they share a moment. Like you see, there's a shared moment.
Takes a shot,
and I'm like, but I thought he was gonna go in. I remember seeing it for the first time and thinking he was gonna go in for a kiss.
Oh, no.
Normally, guys, you remember, like, you and a girl share a moment, you lock eyes, whatever. Like, the next move is you lean in for a kiss.
Not if you're a bum.
Not if you're a bum. He just puts his hand on her inner thigh and just starts sliding it right up there.
Upper skirt. And then the best part is like every male fantasy, she goes for it.
Yeah, she pulls him. Now she's like, okay, come with me. She pulls him into the office, opens her shirt to show him that she has boobs.
Can I be honest with you for a second? Until that scene in the movie,
yeah,
I was almost convinced that this was a man the whole time.
Like a
She-
Thailand.
Like a Thai lady boy.
Yeah.
She, because face attractive, but still there was something there.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Strong jaw.
and especially after watching this movie for an hour and a half, I thought
Anything can happen.
anything can happen in this
Yeah.
movie.
There hasn't been a transvestite or a midget yet.
There has not been a crying game moment yet.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured she was going to take the shirt off and then the skirt would come off and there'd be a fucking dong.
Yeah.
You know?
Could have happened.
Or maybe another sentient bush person, you know?
Oh, right,
Like you
right.
find out she's another one of the bush
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But no, she takes the shirt off, there's breasts, and she starts dancing for him. And then just as soon as she does that, fucking Bronson
Bronson
comes,
just-
he Kool-Aids through the door.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and
That's more Macho Man.
yeah.
But it's all right.
Cream of the crop.
Snap into it. I'm here with the lovely Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, this weekend, Madison Square Garden, honky tonk man.
In case you don't know, we both have our pinkies up.
We are. We're both doing the whole thing. From this point on,
For no reason.
well,
I still haven't figured out why.
he's
Had no beef. He's had no interaction with this kid throughout the whole movie.
He sees. I think I'm gonna let me
Yeah.
infer.
Yes.
He watches them go into the office.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a Nam thing because she's Asian? That he
Oh, maybe.
maybe like that he's just
Yeah.
like he clips. He goes a little nuts.
Maybe.
So he Kool-Aid's in, and then now the movie becomes kind of a cat and mouse where he's chasing the brother through this place,
Mm-hmm.
and then Fred shows up to save the day. But Bronson's not getting beat, right?
Not
Bronson.
by Fred.
If you haven't seen the movie yet, just picture Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
Yeah.
but like fucking crazier.
Yeah.
All right, and this leads
Picture
to
one of the dudes drinking oil in Over the Top.
yeah,
Like, one of the dudes drinking motor oil,
yeah,
fucking arm wrestling it over the top. That's basically what Bronson is.
yeah. Bronson's fucking out of control.
Yeah.
He's chasing him through this whole place,
Like through the carburetor room.
through the
And then, did you?
the rack and pinions and everything. I deal with the
I was like,
automotive parts.
I was like, really good storage. Like,
Yeah.
all right. They got all the carburetors in this room.
Yep.
All the rack
Nope,
pinions.
it's very, very organized,
Yep.
very clean. And he chases him through. Fred comes in. They have a scuffle, and just as Bronson has Fred up, press slam, about to kill him,
Yeah.
like nobody's business. Kevin, I think Kevin is his name, the brother. I think
whatever.
he has all these air tanks around him.
Yeah.
And he takes
Why,
one
I
of them.
don't know. I don't.
He takes one of them and he takes a rock and he knocks it off, and it shoots across,
Yeah.
and it decapitates Bronson.
Not only to
it, like,
whole like
whole U-shaped hole
it
in his
takes
chest.
off his head and then maybe like a foot below it. Like
He looks like
a U shape.
You know when they fillet a fish, or,
Yes.
when they cut a fish,
cut
and it's
the
got
fish's
that
head off and it's that
big
U shape. Yeah.
He looks like that.
Yeah.
And then the even weirder part is that when his head hits the ground,
Yeah.
he's still making faces and stuff. Like he's
Well,
like,
yeah, she walks over him and he looks up her skirt.
yes,
Yeah. Which is fucking class.
She goes over. Now it's so weird. The ending of this movie is so weird.
Yeah.
She goes over to the younger brother,
Yeah.
and kneels down to comfort him. Movie ends.
Yeah.
Street trash on the screen.
Yeah.
But then we get a fucking post-credit scene,
Yes.
which goes back. This is brilliant.
It's your favorite part of the whole movie.
It is.
I
It
know
goes
this.
back to the Italian restaurant doorman character and the Don again.
Yeah.
And now they're probably in the Don's house.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? Fuck.
Yeah.
He's got him tied up.
Got
to
him
the
tied
chair.
up. He's like, I'm gonna fucking teach you a lesson. You're a fucking dead man.
Yeah.
Fucking the James Lorenz character still giving him
Still
shit.
talking shit.
One of the best lines in the whole movie is he earlier made a crack about the chicken or duck served at his restaurant. And he goes, what I said about the chicken, I didn't mean it. I really enjoy your chicken. You know, the night that your girlfriend was brutally raped and murdered, I had a piece that night. It was wonderful. He's still poking at him. As two of the beef castles, the Italian guards there, have him held up and wrapped up.
Yeah.
What does the Don Larry find in his pocket? He searches him real quick.
Find some Viper.
He finds Viper.
Yeah. Why? I don't know, but
Don't know either because he's never involved in any of
yeah,
that.
he's never been in that part of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Would have been nice if maybe when Fred showed up, he dropped it and we saw him pick it up.
Something.
We got none of that.
Nothing.
And the Don yells at the two guys. It could have been a piece.
Yeah.
He could kill me.
Why didn't you? Hey, you didn't search him. Whoa.
Off screen.
Hey, oh.
Off screen, he takes a sip.
Yeah.
Brilliant to do it off screen.
Yeah.
Because what we get him dying and all this shit happening.
Yeah.
And all we see is the reaction of the two goons.
Yeah.
and then fucking Lorenzo's character, the
Yeah.
doorman, just mouthing off.
Just going. He's like, hey, I guess I'm the Don now.
I'm the Don now.
Hey,
Get his pinky ring
get
for
that
me.
ring before it gets all gross.
Then the movie ends.
Yeah.
And then, as you said before, there's like, we've talked about enough of these weird 80s movies
Yeah.
where there's like some like, at the end of the movie, like First Blood had like, you know, weird like
Oh, that was
kind
the
of ballad.
weirdest- that was the
There's
weirdest
several
thing.
movies that do this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And this one has another one, and you said it was sung by.
Yeah. And it was sung by Duran there, the guy who plays Nicky. And it's crazy. It's just
Yeah.
crazy talk. He's just like, hey, you go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it's just bizarre. Completely bizarre. You know what bothered me? And not to take it all the way back, but what was his name? Kevin? When the Asian girl takes Kevin into the thing and, you know, she starts taking his clothes off, she's like, you know, can't you wash him first? Like, that dude's so again, he's covered in soot.
Look, let's be honest. If this chick is willing to at any point fuck this guy,
I guess
it doesn't matter.
I guess it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
I guess you're right. That's
It
my
doesn't
fault.
matter.
That's my fault.
All right, so since this is Scary Larry's House of Horrors, we got we got to rate it, and we also have to talk about other things. And of course, before we rate anything on this show, we got to talk about our favorite kill kids.
I've killed women and children. Killed just about everything that walks or crawled at one time or another. And I'm here to kill you, little Bill.
God.
Larry, I'll let you go first. In a film filled with many colorful
Yeah.
and weird death moments, what would you say was your favorite?
Yeah. It's Bronson.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I love all the melty stuff. I love the colors. You know, that first melt is iconic when he's in the toilet. You know, everybody's seen that. It's on t-shirts, it's on posters. That Bronson kill is just fucking sweet.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Because even though like all the kills in this are so uniquely weird
Yeah.
and like
gross. Yeah.
and that first toilet kill is really great,
Yeah.
but somehow the last 15 minutes of this movie it become almost like a slasher film when Bronson's going after them.
Right.
And that one scene how he kills Bronson is like straight out of an 80s action movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. You could totally picture fucking Schwarzenegger doing that to somebody.
As I'm watching it and
Have some air.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
something.
as I'm watching it and he's got those tanks around him, I go, he's going to
Is
point
he
a
gonna
tank
do
at
this?
him
Yeah.
and knock the end off with a rock. And he does.
Yeah, of course.
And the only reason I know that is because I've seen every 80s action movie.
100%.
So when he does that, and then you get that great, like we said, not just a decapitation, but a disembowelment.
What happened to Bronson? We aired him out.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and then the fact that also that, like, not only that, but like he kills him, and then the movie just kind of ends right there.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, and that's killer because this movie does have like those melting kills are all very interesting.
Right.
When the fat guy blows up, it's very good.
So good.
But that last kill is so inventive.
Yeah.
I really dug it. All right, let's rate this thing.
Let's do it.
Are those your grades?
Yeah. I don't think that I deserved an F. Do you?
All right, Larry, what are we rating street trash? What are we rating street trash based on?
Pints of Tenafly Viper.
Okay. All right. So 0 to 5, 0 being the worst ever, 5 being the best ever.
0 being no pints
No pints.
of Tenafly Viper.
Quarter and half scale optional. I'll go first.
Yeah.
This movie was hard to find, first of all.
You said it wasn't for me. All I had to do was go to my Blu-ray.
You got the Blu-ray. If
Yeah.
anybody out here right now listening wants to watch this, I'm telling you right now, there is a full version on YouTube, and it's full. I mean, nudity, multiple rape scenes. They did not edit this for YouTube. So if you want to check it out, go there. Otherwise, you could borrow Larry's copy possibly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or go to the Great Archive in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I'm sure they have a copy of it there. It was fun talking about.
Yeah.
It's fun talking about. But that doesn't make a great movie. Again,
Yeah.
I'm still befuddled by the fact that this is the movie about the booze that kills people.
Yeah.
That 15 minutes in drops that totally.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes
It
like
goes away from
it
it.
becomes Days of the Homeless's lives.
Right.
But
Right.
there's
but such interesting days of their lives, right?
it is.
How? Come on.
It is.
Did you not have fun watching fucking Bluto Shop, whatever the fuck his name is, Brutus, Brian? I don't remember
Yeah.
the black guy's name
Yeah.
anymore. But just watching him jam his fucking
Jimbo
fireman,
Slice.
his fireman pants full of fucking chicken and Kool-Aid,
I did. Boy, I'll tell you.
and then just walking through the glass like
This is not the kind of movie that I should be thinking about a lot afterwards. But as soon as I finished it, I had one rating in my head.
Yeah.
And the more I think about it, and the low budget, again, I don't have the number, but it was a low budget.
Yeah.
And the fact that like almost everybody in this is not an actor.
Right.
The guy who played Bronson, I was reading something about him. He said he'd never read the full script till like 3 months after the movie was made.
Yeah. He said he went through the whole movie not knowing anything about his character.
They fired the first guy who played Bronson on the first day of shooting because he was a problem or something.
Yeah.
They bring this guy in, but they just give him little dribs and drabs.
Yep. Just like, here's what you're doing in this scene.
Yeah.
Not why, not, an actor wants to know what their motivation is, right? What's his character's motive? He had none of that. He didn't even have the fucking script.
No.
They were just like, here, in this scene, you're going to rub this girl and then stab this guy with a fucking femur.
Yeah. This film is problematic. In today's day and age, again.
No, in 1987's day and age.
In 1987 it was too, but like in today specifically.
Oh, yeah. This movie's canceled.
Yeah, this is this might be why you can't find it on like Amazon and stuff like that.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with it now. I'm gonna say I enjoyed this. I had fun with it, but it still is a low rating. I'm gonna give it a 1 3/4. I'm gonna give it a 1.75. The Manster was here earlier. He did want to throw his out. He kind of jumped around a little bit. I think he said in the end a 1.5.
Yeah.
But he hated this movie.
Yeah.
He found nothing really redeemable about it, but I think he liked the effects. And he also agreed with me and Larry too that the James Lorenz, the doorman, and the Don character were the best parts of it. But I had fun with this. I liked it more as I thought about it in the ensuing days after watching it. But it's still a 1 3/4. It's a mess of a fucking movie. It's a mess of a movie. Larry, what do you got for Street Trash?
Lloyd Kaufman hates the movie.
Oh, really? But he didn't have anything to do with this, right?
It had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
But I believe he considers it a ripoff of Troma films.
I got to be honest. Like I'm not the Troma guy.
Yeah.
Like when you did the double feature, again, I always love your shows, but I've seen Toxic Avenger and I've always kind of enjoyed it because when I was a kid, you did Class of Nukem High.
Yep.
I just wanted to get up and go do anything else. I wanted to do accounting. I wanted to maybe do get flogged
learn
for a while.
Learn how to read Braille.
Yeah, Braille. Anything.
Sure.
Do a shift at a McDonald's.
Learn how to clean a squid.
Yeah.
Whatever. Cleaning squid's not easy, man. I did that for years.
Ugh.
Fucking awful. All right. So, there's a whole genre of film called melt movies, right?
No, right. You say it to me like, I don't know this.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Yes, melt movies. The Incredible Melting Man, Devil's Reign, Slime City, The Stuff is a melt movie. The Blob is a melt movie. Street Trash, a melt movie, which is funny because as we've been discussing, it's probably one of the least melty.
Nobody melts for an hour
of the melt movies. However, when it does happen, there's plenty of goop.
Oh yeah.
It's very colorful and very goopy. It's problematic. It's offensive. It's an offensive film. This is not the type of movie that you recommend to quote unquote normal folk.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was in a text chain with the people that coach on the baseball team that I coach. And they asked if I was doing anything tonight. I was like, I'm going to podcast to talk about Street Trash. I'm like, make sure you watch it. There's going to be a test next week. And then I'm like, just kidding. Do
not watch it.
Do not watch it because then you're going to probably take your son off the baseball team and it's going to be a whole.
Yeah.
I'll be up on some sort of charges.
Tribunal. You'll be on a Little League tribunal.
I'll be floating around in space in some fucking triangle like fucking Zod.
Hey, John, I haven't heard Larry on the podcast in a while. Yeah, he's in the fucking Phantom Zone. He got sent to the fucking Phantom Zone.
Yeah. So yeah, I probably should have recommended that to them. Hopefully they can't find it. I've always enjoyed Street Trash. I think it's just a fucking riot. When you're being offensive just for the sake of being offensive, it's okay to laugh at it. I think it's my opinion. It's all tongue in cheek. It's not to be taken seriously.
If you're going to go for it, go for it.
Yeah, and they fucking go for it.
They go for it.
They go for it. Does this weave itself in a cohesive way to a cinematic outcome?
Right.
No. This is like 6 different movies.
Oh yeah,
jived together. But I enjoy all 6. I really do. It's not perfect. It probably is my favorite of the Melt movies. Thinking of how many pints of Tenafly Viper Street Trash gets, I'm going to say it gets 3.75.
Holy fuck, holy.
Because it for me is fun every time I watch it. I've seen it probably 25 times. I still laugh at it. It still keeps me entertained. There's, the way to judge for me is am I fucking around on my phone? Am I going to my phone and am I like, let me check the Yankee score. I don't ever do that during Street Trash, no matter how many times I've seen it.
All right. I give it a low score, but I do think it's something everybody should check out. Again, remembering, as long as you are not like going to be offended easily.
Yeah.
Because if you're offended easily, do not watch Street Trash.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah. There's a lot of triggering stuff in here for sure. All right, Larry. So for the rest of season 3, we don't really have an order yet, but what other movies do we have that we're going to be talking about? We're only doing 5 episodes this season.
Yep. So as you mentioned, we took seasons 1, 2, made a list of kind of which ones didn't make it, and took my favorite 5.
Yep. And
when I say favorite, there's probably movies I like more, but there's movies that talk better.
Right.
There's movies that are just like, this is you might not like Street Trash, but it's fun to talk about.
It lends itself to conversation very easily.
Yeah. Whereas, something, I don't know, like a fucking, I can't think of anything, like A Quiet Place. Like, it's great. A Quiet Place is a great movie. Is it going to be an interesting discussion?
Right.
Is it going to be funny? Probably not.
Yeah, like you had mentioned.
Oh my
once,
God, the deaf girl's father got attacked by a fucking alien and died. That's not funny.
Right.
It's not fun.
You had mentioned at one point we had talked about doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at one point. And you had said, does that, and I still would like to do it, but you're right. Does that lend itself to a really great conversation?
Right.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Right. I mean, so I went through the list of the 2 seasons. I picked 5 that I really like and that I think would be fun to talk about. Street Trash being the first of them. And then the other 4 were Humanoids from the Deep.
Yep.
Which unfortunately does include some more rape, but at least this time it's by a sea creature.
Sea creature rape. Yeah.
So that's okay. Excision, which is a really batshit crazy movie. Tracy Lords is in it. It was one of my favorites. I think it was 2012. I don't even remember, but it was one of my favorites of the year it came out. Really, just a really crazy movie. The Prowler, which is one of my favorite slashers of all time, also called Rosemary's Killer. 81-ish, around there. That'll be a fun one to talk about. And then the last one, I'm so mad at you guys for not voting for it. The Lure, which is a more recent, maybe 2017, 2018 film about a couple mermaids who wash up in 1980s Poland and join a sort of disco club band. So,
I called on Laura for that one, and I messaged her and said, here are the movies we're doing. I want you on this one because it seems up your alley. And she's like, and again, I'm not expecting her to say it, but she's like, I love that movie.
Yeah, of course.
So she's already fucking seen it.
Yeah.
So Laura's in on that one.
Good. Yeah, I figured she would love that movie.
Yeah. Oh, I also, when you read those off, I said, okay, I got to get Laura here once or twice. That sounds the most Laura-ish. And she was immediately like, I love that movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we don't fail. All right. So don't forget, go to Patreon /The Pint. $2.50 a month makes you a Pint Insider. All kinds of cool things. Summertime 1990s, a brand new series we're doing. If it was released between May 1st and August 31st, between 1990 and 1999, we're doing episodes on it. We already did Backdraft, second episode, The Frighteners, which you guys, which the insiders voted on. You also get voting privileges if you're an insider. Will be coming soon. And also, Scary Larry's House of Horrors Classics is also only on the Insider Patreon level. You can check out us talking about 2 we've done so far, Evil Dead and The Lost Boys, and we will be doing Phantasm very soon.
Yes.
So check that out. Boy. Check that out, and also check out everywhere you can find The Pint, every podcatcher out there. If you go to Instagram, it's at Pint Podcast. If you go to Twitter, at Pint Podcast. And if you go to Facebook, it's The Pint Podcast. Larry, do you want to tell everybody out there about your socials and all that good stuff?
Yeah, sure. You can find me at a number of different places. First of all, our website, ConnecticutCultClassics.com. That's where you can find out about the double features that we do at the Strand Theater in Seymour, and sometimes movies at other places. It'll all be listed there. Also, there is a webpage where you can There's a place on the website where you can find all of the Scary Larry's podcast links, just quick access to all of those. You can find me at horrornewsnetwork.net and ConnecticutHorrorFest.com, and on social media at Larry Dwyer. Pretty easy.
And I screwed up before when I said our social media. It's at The Pint Podcast, not at Pint Podcast. So make sure you put the in there.
The.
See ya.
We are leaving!